Hi, welcome back to my channel, Stitch and Style by me, Nadia, and I've got quite a bit to share. Now, I was expecting to be quite busy, but this past 2 weeks didn't exactly go to plan because I ended up feeling rather poorly. I had to cancel all my plans and I've had a lot of time at home. I've also had a non-working day, so I was able to get some sewing done. I've got 2 completed makes to share with you and I'm very excited about one of them. And I've also got my All Set to Sew So Luxurious subscription box that arrived last week. Now, I've not opened it yet, so I wanted to film me opening it and I didn't feel up to it until today, so very excited to open the box. So I'm going to do that first. So you'll see here that the seal is still intact and I'm just going to open it up now. So here we go. There we go. Ooh. So the first thing I've seen is the material, and I ordered this material with a black background, and it's got like ivory coloured, I don't know what they are really, flowers, but with like a geometric design. And I'm just going to get one layer just so I can see like how thick it feels. So it's quite a substantial weight actually. And I think it's called the broadcloth, this material actually. I did look at it on Minerva's website and the price on the Minerva's website was over £20. Now, I think this might have changed my mind what I'm going to make with it. I don't know. I'm just going to get my ruler so I can like measure how much I've got. That was a struggle to get my ruler. I feel all hot now. There's just over 3.5 metres of the material, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this now I've got it. Now my idea was to do a jumpsuit, and I had the Lydia Naomi jumpsuit in mind for it. But now it's come and I've felt it, I don't know. I'm going to have a think about what I'm going to make with it. I'm probably going to make a dress, maybe a midi dress. So let's see what else we've got in the subscription box. And I've got this little packet here. Let's have a see what's in there. So there's the thread to match. Oh, and there's a button. And I've got these buttons, these off-white buttons, with like a little geometric design on them. They're really pretty, I really like them. I'm just going to measure them to see how big the buttons are. They're 2 centimetre wide buttons, I think. I think they go quite nicely with the material. And let's see how many buttons I've got. So I've got 12 buttons there, and it's really nice to have 12 buttons that are all the same, because my, I don't know if yours are like mine, but my button jar is full of different buttons, but there doesn't seem to ever be that many of one type. So yeah, good to have 12 matching buttons there. And there's some interfacing that's come. Nice quality interfacing. Let's see, I think it says the brand on here. Visaline. I don't know if that's how you say it. But it's the F20, it's the F22. And it gives washing instructions. Now, I'm not actually, I'm sure I bought this brand before, but it's not had the brand name on. But maybe I've not actually bought the proper branded stuff, I'm not sure. So then we've got a printout of the hinterland dress, which is the pattern that I chose, the woven pattern, A0 copy of the pattern, and the pattern booklet. So that's really helpful. And then I've got this little haberdashery item, and I have no idea what it is. So that's good, I've not got one before. So it says remove before use. Oh, it's got a seam ripper on it, and you know, who doesn't need a seam ripper? Oh, and then on the other side, it's got a needle threader, and I think that looks like a light. Oh yes, it's a light. Oh, that's going to be really handy. So it's like the Swiss Army knife of sewing. So it says, oh yes, super bright LED, seam ripper, needle threader, thread cutter. Ah yeah, it's there's a little thread cutter there. Oh, brilliant. What a handy little tool. Yeah, love that. Great little tool. So thank you, Nicolette, for my All Set to Sew subscription box. I love it, and I think I'm going to get next month's as well. So now on to my first make of the week, and oh, I'm so excited to show you this. Now it's the Sorrento jacket by Sew Over It. If you followed along with my jeans making vlog, you know that in there I mentioned that I had the idea to do a matching jacket, and that's exactly what I've done. I ordered the same cone mill denim from Guthrie and Garney, which is an indigo colour, and this is a 10-ounce denim, and it's a raw denim, and it's beautiful quality. It feels so lovely and soft, and it's not too thick and it's not too thin. Really lovely quality. So I ordered the same denim to match my jeans, and it's not exactly the same colour, I think, because I've washed the jeans at least one more time than I've washed the jacket. So I had to buy some more top stitching thread. I did run out, so yeah, I needed more top stitching thread, and that's mainly because I did so much unpicking, and I actually did quite a bit of unpicking of the top stitching on the jacket as well. Now this is the Sorrento jacket by Sew Over It, and it's from their Summer Dreaming ebook, which I saw actually was on offer last weekend, and there was some money off. And I really must give a massive shout out to Lisa and the Sew Over It team for such a brilliant pattern. I loved making this jacket up, and I am so happy with the results. I think it looks really professional. We'll pop it on to show you. So here we go. I've used the same top stitching thread that I used on my jeans, and it's the Gutterman, I think it's 2040, the colour, which I've seen described as toffee coloured. So it is quite a deep, like orangey kind of colour. And I use the same buttons. Now these are the hemline buttons in nickel. You can see it's got a little pattern on it with some stars at the top. 2 pockets at the front, so it's like a classic denim jacket. And it was lovely actually, because I made the straight size 14. I didn't need to do any changes to it. I wanted it fairly cropped, so I just left it at the length it was, but for reference, I'm 5'8.5", and I have quite a long torso, so I'll just stand up and show you where it comes to on me. So here's my waist, and it just comes down below my waist, like a couple of inches below my waist. Now the only change I did make was I added 2 centimetres to the length of the sleeves, just to make sure that they came long enough, and actually they're sitting perfectly. Now, I haven't got particularly long arms, but because I'm tall, I felt I needed the extra length on the arms, and it fits really nicely everywhere actually. I'm really happy with the fit. The fit on the shoulders is good, the fit on the arms not too tight, and plenty of room to fasten the actual jacket up if I want to. And it was such a lovely pattern to sew. It came together so beautifully, and I took my time on the collar just to make sure I got all that neat, and I even hand basted it together, which my regular viewers will be very proud of me for taking the time to hand tack it, because I can be a little bit lazy sometimes when it comes to that, and then it worked out beautifully. So I'm gonna have to take the time to do hand basting in future. So look, I'm really happy with like how the collars turned out. Now my top stitching is a little bit heavy on that side. It's a bit better on that side actually, but the collar looks very, I think, neat. Now the top stitching I did have a little bit of an issue with, because I set up I've got two machines, I'm very lucky. So one of them was set up with the indigo thread to do the construction, and one was set up with the top stitching thread to do my top stitching. I did loads of the top stitching, so it kind of like asks you to do some of the construction and then do a batch of top stitching. And I did a lot of top stitching, and I didn't realise until a little bit later that on the underside there was a tension problem. So the top stitching was showing through on the underside. You know when you get like a little loop of the top thread on the bottom, and then the thread, the bobbin thread was just like not properly gone into the fabric. So there was a line of bobbin thread and then all these loops for the top stitching, and I'd done loads of the top stitching, and it all looked so neat on the outside, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to carry on. And then afterwards it all started popping out because it wasn't properly sewn on, so I had to unpick it all and redo all of the top stitching. For example, like here you can see where I've back stitched it from the seam, and then done the lines of top stitching. So yeah, I used loads of the top stitching thread. Buttonholes all went really well. I was really happy with how the pockets went. Now, because I'd used the overlocker and it didn't like going through 4 layers of the fabric, the denim fabric, I've actually just zigzagged inside, and then we've got the double top stitching, so hopefully it's going to be fine with fraying, and I'm not going to be washing it all that often anyway. But I'm really happy with how symmetrical I got the pocket bags. So I did a template for one side out of tracing paper, and then flipped it and then drew around it for the other side, and then I drew another line, so I had 2 lines of top stitching to follow, and it just made sure that they were both symmetrical and really neat. So very happy with the finish on those. Now, I wasn't sure, this was the only thing that I found a little bit confusing in the pattern, was how to finish this cuff detail. Now you do some bias binding and you go down to a very, very small seam allowance at the point, which I did do, but then I couldn't really work out if I've done this properly. So it's all finished neatly inside. It is a little bit bulky at the top here, where you've got the bias binding and everything meeting. Actually, you can see there where I've drawn a line on it. That light blue colour is my pen marks, which will come off in the wash, but they don't come off with just heat. So yeah, I mean, I'm pleased with how neat it was to finish, but I'm not absolutely 100% convinced I've got that how it should look. I don't know. I was just following the instructions, and I found the instructions, I read them like over and over again, and I still couldn't get my head around it. So hopefully that's all right. I mean, I've not got any raw seams in there, so even if it's not 100% how it's supposed to be, at least it's not going to fray and come apart. And my machine, actually, both machines coped with the fabric fine, apart from that little tension issue I had. So it's always worth, actually, once you've done some stitching, is just to check the underside, because from the top it looked amazing, but then yeah, when I looked underneath, there was a whole ton of problems. So yeah, I wore this on Saturday and I went with the whole double denim look, and I was just proud as punch to be wearing jeans and a matching jacket that I'd made myself, and my family were all so impressed with my jacket. They really were. So hopefully you've seen some pictures of me in the outfit, and yeah, that was my first make. So it's just going to be so handy for summer. It's going to go over everything and I'm going to get a lot of wear out of it. I probably won't wear it too much with the matching jeans, but yeah, I couldn't help it for its first outing. It had to be the double denim look. Oh, just a quick note on what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing the Tabitha t-shirt dress by Tilly and the Buttons in this lovely brushed viscose jersey fabric from First Fabrics, which I got around my birthday time, and I'm wearing a polo neck which is ready to wear, and I'm wearing some burgundy coloured tights today. So that's my outfit for today. I'm working at home today, and let me just go and get my second make, which might need an iron actually, so hopefully I'm not going to have to stop this and iron it, or please excuse any creases. Anyway, let me go and get it. So yes, it definitely needs an iron, so please excuse the creases. In fact, but I'd drawn on it with the same pen that doesn't come off with heat, so it definitely needed a wash before I showed it to you. So yeah, this is a shirt that I've made for my husband. So I've made him one shirt already for our anniversary. You've probably seen it if you've watched my Vlogmas, and that's the only shirt he likes to wear now, so he definitely needed another shirt for when we go out, and I wanted to get it done especially before our holiday. So I'd bought this fabric from Fabworks when I went for the Stitch Make Create social event. Fabworks is in Dewsbury, and I got this, and it's like this little check, tiny little check fabric, which is 100% cotton, and it does have like a slight sheen to it, and I thought when I was actually making this would make a lovely little top with some gathering on it. Oh, I really liked the look when it was like gathered up when I was doing the sleeve head. There's no actual gathering on the sleeve head. I've not got any puckers, but you know when you're pulling on the threads, and I thought, oh, it looks really nice gathered. Anyway, so this is the Jackson shirt by Helen's Closet, and it's gender inclusive pattern, which I love, and size inclusive as well. It goes up to a size, I think it's 34 UK, and I made my husband, this is size, I think it's 24 on the top, graded to a size 20 at the hip. The last shirt I made him, I had to add some more material under the arms. It was just pinching very slightly under the arms. So I did alter the pattern under the arms, added some width there to both the arm and the sleeve, and I also raised up the back neckline slightly. He said he felt it was sitting too low on him. He wanted his collar to sit a little bit higher. So I added maybe about a centimetre or so to the back neckline, which then does change the collar stand. I just made those changes once I'd sewn it up. In fact, I didn't change the length of the collar piece. I only changed the length of the collar stand. So, and it's actually worked out fine. Now this material, even though I think it's a really pretty material, it was quite difficult to sew with, and it does show mistakes quite a lot. So yeah, it was a little bit hard to handle. And I've gone with an indigo thread, and it does kind of stand out a little bit, which is fine. I decided to cut the yoke piece on the bias, so so you can see there it's diagonal compared to straight up and down, the pattern. Now it did mean that it was slightly, I had to re-sew it because I think because it was cut on the bias, it was a little bit more prone to stretching out. So the bias, the bias yoke pieces were a little bit, I had to be really careful with them and not to distort them too much. And on one side I had to unpick it and re-sew it because it wasn't sitting completely flat once I'd matched the edges. If you can kind of understand what I'm talking about, hopefully I'm making some sense, but who knows. And I noticed on my previous version of the shirt, I'd not done I'd done the pleat the wrong way, so I must have attached the back shirt piece the wrong way, but oh well, it doesn't matter now, does it? But I did do it the right way, and I have top stitched that down. That all looks pretty neat. Now, oh yeah, I was just talking about the changes I've made to the pattern. Now he's tried on this shirt, and although it fits him, there is still a little bit of a fitting issue on the back of his arms, and maybe across the shoulder, like not at the top, but between, like underneath his arms, across the back. I think that's where the problem is. So I have been back to my patterns and made a few more adjustments to them for the next version, and hopefully that's going to fix the issue. Now it's not going to stop him from wearing it, but yeah, it's just doesn't fit quite right around there. So I went with these like little, like very pale blue buttons with the indigo thread, and the pocket, I've moved the pocket down from where it was on his previous shirt because I thought it was sitting a little bit high. The collar went in okay. I wouldn't say that's my neatest work around the collar area, but it's fine. And hopefully, like, the collar kind of hides it on the outside anyway, and it doesn't really matter what it looks like on the inside. The collar stand, I was pretty pleased with my shape on the collar stand. That's all fine. And the buttonholes went in a dream, so they're fine. The only thing that I noticed was, I don't know whether I'd confused the left and the right pieces. I had a little bit of a moment, and then I realised there was a raw edge showing on one of the bottoms here. So I had to unpick it slightly and make sure I'd concealed the raw edge. Maybe you can see it there. So I'd stitched here, but it had not caught it all, so then I did another line of stitching here. You might not be able to see that, but oh, the curved hemline was actually a bit of a pain to sew, and I had a little bit of a fight with it to get it looking neat, and it's not the flattest, and I thought maybe next time. This shirt is pretty long, on my husband, and I just thought maybe next time I'm just going to square off the bottom, just to make it easier to sew. It's so much easier to sew a straight hem than it is one of these curved hems. Yeah, it was a little bit tricky. And I said next time what I'm going to do is going to get the material, enough material for 2 of them, and do 2 at the same time, because batch sewing like that, especially when it's not like your favourite thing to make, is, it just makes it so much easier. And then he's got 2 more shirts. So we're going to go down to the Gold Hawk Road in a couple of weeks, which I'm really excited about. And he's going to come with me. So I'm going to ask him to choose like 2 materials for shirts, and then I can make him 2 more, and then hopefully he is going to be happy with 2 more shirts. The other thing that I did this time, which I didn't do before, and I had a few comments on my last video when I shared this problem. So what I was getting was when the interfacing, especially on the collar piece, is quite noticeable. When after you've washed it, then you can kind of get like a little bit of like ridging and bubbling of the interfacing on the collar. And somebody said to me it's because I'm not pre-washing my interfacing, and I need to pre-shrink it. So whoever that was, I can't remember who it was, but thanks so much for your tip. So what I did, which I've not ever done before, is I got my interfacing, and just in the kitchen sink I just like submerged it in the water. It was like tepid water, a little bit warm. So I just submerged it, gave it a little rinse around, and then hung it up to dry. And quite a lot of glue fell off my black interfacing, actually, because I thought I'll get as much done as I can. But it dried fine and stuck to the fabric fine after I'd pre-washed it, and hopefully pre-shrunk it. So I'm hoping that it's going to stay nice and flat, and I'm not going to get that problem. So I did say to my husband, are you going to wear this shirt? He said, yes, I'm definitely going to wear it. We're going out this weekend for my sister's birthday, and he said he's going to wear his new shirt. So I'm really happy with that. I'm happy he's pleased with it. And yeah, I've made him another shirt and myself a denim jacket. So this week has been really quite busy with sewing after all. I know I did miss last week. So hopefully I'll be seeing you again pretty soon. And thanks so much for joining me today. As always, I so appreciate everybody's likes, comments, subscribes and watches, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.